Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So I got a request from a commenter named Dreamwalker that wanted me to talk about this woman in the photo that's in Jacob's tent in Life is Strange 2 episode 3, and you can see that she's missing her hand. And why might she be missing her hand is I'm going to go over that, and I'm also going to talk about some theories that may tie into episode 4 as well. Now, the woman in the photo, I believe it to be Jacob's mother, because there are two women. There's one on the left that could be the Reverend Mother, and if it is, she doesn't look like, what's it called? She doesn't look like Sean and Daniel's mother, Karen. But then again, you know, there are photos in Life is Strange which are a bit weird, and the people in the photos don't look like they normally do. So yeah, so it could be Karen, could be the revered mother, but she may not look like she does in the photo. Maybe not. So this is actually, I'm just gonna drop this out there. It's fun to imagine, but it's definitely not gonna be a real thing. The reason I believe that well, I don't believe, but this is just like a joke one before we get all serious in the video. It's fun to imagine that this community place is led by Max, and all the people worship her to the point where they cut off their left hand, because Max uses her left hand to rewind time, so, you know, only she can use her left hand. The others have to cut it off because their left hands aren't as worthy as hers, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And yeah, we're just gonna forget all about that. I hope you all had a good laugh. Anyways, here's what's interesting. Okay, so Jacob was raised in the small community. That small community is in Haven Point, Nevada, and Jacob describes the woman there, the Reverend, says that she was both amazing and intense. And he says when he lost his faith, when he lost his path, if you will, and started doubting himself, that caused the community and his own family to see him as trouble. So he left Haven Point to try and find himself, but won't go back there unless he sees a signal from God. So this is where that woman, who's his mother, I believe, I don't believe the Reverend on the left is his mother, the one who's missing her hand, that could be his mother. I mean, it's obviously his mother. Out of the two, I believe it's her. Anyways, there's this theory going around that I want to bring up that I do believe will happen. Okay, so at the end of episode 3, you notice how Finn and Cassidy, Meryl, the Bigfoot guy, Sean, they're all unconscious. Well, the Bigfoot guy and Cassidy, depending on if they're there or not. If they're not there, they won't be unconscious. But anyway, you'll notice that Daniel is not part of them. And this is actually an interesting theory, and this could actually tell us where episode 4 goes, and there's actually proof to support this. So Jacob, as I said, he mentioned that he's not planning to go back to his family in Haven Point until he receives a sign from God. And when he discovers Daniel's powers, he says there must be a reason for his powers, and maybe they're meant to help guide him. And what's interesting here is people are speculating that Daniel is actually taken. Jacob has actually taken Daniel, and they're going to Haven Point in Nevada. And if you watch the little teaser for the end of episode 3, it shows the new place that we're going to be at is Nevada. So my guess is that episode 4 is going to be us heading to Haven Point, Nevada, and to go find Daniel. Now, this could be pretty interesting because if the Reverend Mother is indeed Karen, this basically proves to us that people who get powers can, if they have children, then some of the children can get powers as well. because this was it was cut content from Life is Strange Before the Storm, where Rachel's mother Sarah had powers, and it had something to do with the crows that Chloe saw in her dreams. But since that was cut, I'm not saying it's not canon, but since it was cut, we don't really know about it. But if this is true, if it is Karen who's the Reverend Mother, and she does have powers, then yeah, I'm gonna consider it canon. Rachel's mother does have powers. Yep. And that basically means that people with powers can have children who have powers, so it can be passed down. I don't know if it's genetically, like, it's a traumatizing event how people get their powers, but would you say it's a traumatizing, would you say a person who has a parent who has powers needs to have a traumatizing event in order to get powers? Or if they have it passed down through their genes, it's easier to get these powers? I don't know, it's a bit confusing. So that's one of the things I do believe. And if Daniel does go there, and Sean's trying to get him back, these people, because, like, Jacob's saying he won't expose Daniel, he'll keep it a secret, but if he does take Daniel to Nevada, which is most likely the case, he'll probably have Daniel show his power to his religious group, because he said he wouldn't go back there until he found his faith. And with Daniel's powers, then the people there are going to find out, they're going to be surprised, and that some people might see him as a sign from God, other people might think like the devil is involved. You know what I mean. This, with powers in this game, powers can freak people out. They can do both good and bad. It really depends on how you use them. So yes, I do believe the woman in the photo with the missing hand to be not Sean, sorry, to be Jacob's mother. And I do believe that in episode 4 we are going to be heading to Havens Point in Nevada. Sorry, not Nevada. We'll be heading to Havens Point in Nevada, and we might end up at this community, and we will meet the Reverend Mother, who I'm really hoping is Karen Reynolds. And that would even be more of an excuse for Daniel not wanting to leave, and that would be interesting for episode 5. Is Sean gonna stay with Daniel and his mother, or head off to Puerto Lobos? It's like, until we get proof, this is just a theory, but I'm really hoping it's true. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.